Actress Prunella Scales, best known for her role as Sybil Fawlty in the sitcom Fawlty Towers, has passed away.
Breaking news this hour, hearing from the sons of Prunella Scales that the actress has died at the age of 93. The British actress Prunella Scales, best known for her role as Sybil in Fawlty Towers, has died at the age of 93.
Prunella Scales has just passed away at the age of 93 after many years of battling dementia. Just a few hours after the official announcement, John Cleese suddenly broke the silence with a single sentence, brief but enough to make the media and fans across the UK stir. Cleese finally confirmed what the public had suspected for decades but never heard him admit from his own mouth. A deep relationship, a hidden truth, and a belated goodbye just made it all clear.
Thank you, darling. It's beautiful.
Good.
Is the other one for me too?
No, that's for my mistress.
In 1974, when the BBC asked John Cleese to reconsider his decision to cast Sybil Fawlty, he reluctantly agreed.
And I remember going home and saying to Connie, what do you think about the way Prue's playing it? And he was saying, well, it's not what we thought of. We were a bit worried. And then after about 2 days, we actually saw that what she was doing was better and worked better than the way that we thought it would be played.
The proposed replacement was Prunella Scales, a veteran of the British stage but had never worked with Cleese before. Initially, Scales himself hesitated because he was worried that the image of a quarrelsome couple might make the public uncomfortable.
Seriously, Sybil, do you remember when we were first manacled together? We used to laugh quite a lot.
Yes, but not at the same time, Basil.
Nevertheless, the decision to take on this role opened an irreversible turning point for both her career and the flow of British television comedy.
Stir any memories in you, Basil?
Memories? Agincourt?
Fawlty Towers debuted in 1975 with the setting of a fictional hotel run by Basil Fawlty Cleese's character. The role of Sybil Fawlty, Basil's wife, was completely entrusted to Scales, who portrayed the character with a sharp, decisive, and extremely timely style.
Deal with this, Basil?
I'm dealing with it, dear.
No, dear, that's all right. Now you wanted two singles.
I said I'd deal with it.
Do you mind sharing your bathroom?
Look, I was here first.
Well, it's my turn now, then.
Right from the first episode, the juggling between Cleese and Scales created a new standard for chaotic couples in sitcoms. Their interaction was not simply acting, but became the main operating structure of the entire series. Fawlty Towers lasted 2 seasons with a total of 12 episodes, but that was enough to make both of them legendary. Prunella Scales was not only a co-star, but also the person who maintained the perfect balance with Cleese, who was famous for his extreme personality and creativity. Many of the dialogues between the two needed little change on the script, because Scales always nailed the timing. Scene after scene, she was absolutely perfect. Cleese once said in a seminal interview about his career, "Behind the scenes, everything was running smoothly. Scales was always on time, always prepared her lines, and most importantly, she knew how to make Cleese back off if he went too far." They didn't need many rehearsals to achieve their chemistry. This wasn't accidental. It was a result of mutual respect for each other's skills. Prunella Scales knew how to control the comedy, while Cleese relied on her stability to create the climaxes. With Sybil, Scales created a typical Englishwoman, smart in control, always one step ahead of Basil. The contrast between the two characters, one panicking, the other cold, was the foundation of the entire series. Scales did not seek to take center stage, but rather built the character in a stable direction, creating space for Cleese's explosive moments. The role of Sybil not only brought her closer to the public, but also brought John Cleese to the peak of his career. Fawlty Towers' viewership popularity and professional recognition continued to increase with each rerun. Scales did not appear in any Monty Python projects, but Fawlty Towers was enough to earn her recognition alongside the most prominent names of that decade. More than 40 years after their collaboration, Cleese still uses the same phrase when referring to Scales. Her comedy timing is never wrong. No edit was ever cut due to a misstep on her part. The exchanges between Sybil and Basil are still analyzed in acting courses today as a testament to the precision of intensity, rhythm, and emotion. The journey from Sybil opened up many notable projects, but at the same time, it also posed many personal challenges for her, both professionally and personally. A career beyond Sybil. After Fawlty Towers ended, Prunella Scales did not limit her career to one famous role. She continued to work tirelessly on stage, television, and film, leaving a clear mark in many different genres and characters. Before Sybil, Fawlty Scales was recognized for her role in the TV series Marriage Lines, a work that combined family life with light comedy, helping her affirm her ability to act emotionally. Roles such as Elizabeth Perrin in The Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin, or supporting characters in famous movies, show that she does not choose to repeat herself. Scales appeared in Howard's End, a prominent film of the 1990s with a subtle and restrained performance completely opposite to Sybil. She also appeared in The Boys from Brazil, a film exploring the theme of science and war, clearly demonstrating the wide range of her transformation ability. Not trying to maintain a familiar image, Scales always tries to change herself through each project, big or small. Her stage career is not far behind. 2 prestigious award nominations, Olivier Award for Make and Break and Single Spies, show that she is highly appreciated in the live field. Scales is known as someone who completely controls the stage she steps on, not only in the main role, but also in the supporting roles with depth. In addition to her mainstream artistic activities, she also participates in advertising. For a decade, Scales was a familiar face in the advertising campaign of the supermarket chain Tesco, co-starring with Jane Horrocks. But being commercial, this series of ads still helped her maintain a close image with the general audience and proved that a veteran actor can completely reinvent herself through any media platform. A notable highlight in Scales's late career was her role as Queen Elizabeth II in A Question of Attribution, a role that required restraint and inner power. She played this role with composure and self-control without having to rely on humorous dialogue, but still creating a strong impression. Without needing to emphasize too much, Scales' performance made the audience pay attention to every look and every word of the character. Since 2014, along with her husband Timothy, West Scales participated in the reality TV series Great Canal Journeys. The program followed the couple exploring the canals in England by small boat, bringing a completely different image. Close, simple, every day. This is also where she openly shares about her declining health, but still maintains clarity of thought and poise. In the program, she does not talk much about her old roles, but focuses on real-life experiences with her husband, navigating the boat, reading books, and gently reminiscing about the past. Scales' appearance in a real-life context makes many people understand her seriousness and resilience, especially when knowing that she began to face the initial effects of memory pathology during this period. That seasoned and multifaceted career becomes clearer than ever when it is associated with the final period of her life, the time when she faced the biggest challenge, also when the relationship with John Cleese reappeared in the public mind. Decline, dignity, and Cleese's final admission. From the early 2010s, Prunella Scales' health began to change markedly. Her family had noticed early signs of dementia years earlier, but it wasn't until 2013 that she was officially diagnosed with vascular dementia. The memory loss was gradual, but it didn't take her away from her ability to communicate or her independence in the early stages. Scales still chooses to live at home in London, supported by her husband Timothy West and their children. They don't put her in a hospital or treatment center, but arrange for her daily activities to continue as normal in a familiar space. Keeping up with the habit of reviewing old works, reading short scripts, and chatting regularly helps Scales maintain some connection with familiar things. The last time the public saw her on television was in 2019 in an episode of the Great Canal Journeys series. At that time, although her memory wasn't as sharp as before, Scales still retained her smile sophistication and natural ability to converse. After that, the show ended its run with her and her husband, and Scales officially withdrew from the public eye. During her time living privately at home, Scales was kept up to date with information related to the works she had participated in. Her family confirmed that she regularly rewatched Fawlty Towers. Maintaining this mental activity was not for therapeutic purposes, but rather a way for her to continue to connect with the outside world, albeit in a quiet way. On October 27, 2025, Prunella Scales passed away in her sleep at home. A statement from her children said that she lived a full life and her last days were spent in absolute peace. It is worth noting that just the day before, Scales had asked to rewatch some episodes of Fawlty Towers, including the segments with her and John Cleese. The news of her death quickly spread through the artist and press circles, but it was John Cleese's words that caught the attention of many. Without posting a lengthy post or appearing in a memorial video, he sent a brief statement to the media with words that were almost never seen before. Cleese wrote, "She was a really wonderful comic actress. Scene after scene, she was absolutely perfect. I was very, very fond of her." The last line was immediately quoted by the media. His use of the phrase, "very, very fond of her," is considered the first time he acknowledged the depth of his attachment to Scales, not just in terms of professional matters. Previously, Cleese had often spoken of Scales as an excellent co-star, a respected person, but had never used language that was clearly personal. This time the statement was not humorous or ironic, as his usual style, but expressed absolute respect, even a bit of regret. There is no detail to suggest that Cleese and Scales maintained regular contact in the last years of her life. But in previous interviews, he had always insisted that no one else could have played Sybil but Scales. Repeating that statement in this memorial message only reinforced the value of her legacy. Cleese's statement was not only a confirmation of Scales's talent, but also an affirmation of her special role in his creative journey. She made the whole thing work, he once said of the structure of Fawlty Towers, and how Sybil navigated every situation from the script to the reality on set. For an icon of British television to end his life with a review of his defining work and receive an acknowledgement from his most important collaborator, the event was more than a simple mourning. The story of their collaboration, Cleese's acknowledgement, and Scales' final moments were just the tip of the iceberg. The roots of those values began elsewhere, in her background, in her way of life, in the path Scales chose to take from the very beginning of her career. The beginning of a relentless path. Prunella Scales was born on June 22, 1932 in Sutton, Abinger, Surrey, England. Her father was a former officer who had fought in both World Wars, and her mother had a background in performing. The family moved to Bucks Mills, Devon when she was young, and Scales's childhood was marked by a combination of discipline and creativity that would dominate her entire career. At the age of 17, Scales won a scholarship to the Old Vic Theatre School, the training ground for many of the biggest names in British theatre. Between 1949 and 1951, she received formal training in stage performance, learning how to master her voice, maintain rhythm in dialogue, and especially discipline in handling roles. This was the period when she formed the foundational skills that would later make her stand out in the theatre and television world. Soon after completing her training, Scales began working as a stage assistant at the Bristol Old Vic. Not long after, she began to receive her first roles on television. In 1952, she appeared in the BBC adaptation of Pride and Prejudice. Subsequent roles, such as Laxdale Hall, 1953, Hobson's Choice, 1954, and Room at the Top, 1959, all showed a clear direction. Scales did not choose a prominent image, but always remained in the most memorable character lines. From a very early age, Scales showed the ability to adapt well to many types of roles. Even though she only played supporting or secondary roles, she was always highly appreciated for her stability in acting and her ability to create depth for her characters. Without making noise, without demanding the spotlight, she built her career on a solid professional foundation. Scales's personal life was not very turbulent. In 1963, she married veteran actor Timothy West. They lived together until the end of their lives and had two sons, Samuel West, who later also became an actor and stage director, and their second son, Joseph West. Not using their private life to attract attention, the Scales. West couple became one of the typical models of the British art world, quiet, discreet, but full of dedication. Scales always maintained a regular work habit. Those who worked with her commented that Scales never went to the set unprepared. She did not have the habit of improvising on impulse. Instead, she always studied the script, carefully marked each dialogue, and made specific notes on the emphasis. These actions not only showed her seriousness, but also gave directors absolute confidence in her ability to control the role. Unlike many actors of her time who chose a fixed genre, Scales actively participated in television, film, and stage. It was this flexible movement that helped her not fall into a safe zone. She once said in an interview, "I never want to be a single model. Every time I take on a role, I see it as a completely new space to learn from scratch." This mindset has been maintained throughout her career of nearly 7 decades. Even before she became famous, Scales was still a favorite face in local theaters and troupes. She participated in small tours across the UK, performing in halls from big cities to small towns. Those years are not recorded much in the public record, but they are the solid foundation that helps Scales master the stage and the audience in every space. That journey is also the foundation for a legacy that lasts for decades with an influence far beyond specific roles. It is the steadfastness from the early days that helps Prunella Scales maintain a firm position in the hearts of audiences even when she stops. The legacy of Prunella Scales. Prunella Scales began her career in the early 1950s and maintained continuous activity for nearly 70 years. From her first stage roles at Bristol Old Vic to the time of her retirement due to health reasons, Scales always maintained a clear, durable, and consistent professional standard. She did not let herself be swept away by trends, nor did she seek a temporary explosion. Every step was calculated based on the suitability of her personal ability and personality. Her career spanned many platforms: stage, television, film, reality shows, even commercials. Not limited to comedy, Scales also took on dramas, social, psychological films, roles of queens, middle-class civil servant wives, strict mothers. Wherever she appeared, she created a sense of familiarity and credibility. It was the trust that the public had in an actress when they knew that each appearance was a serious performance. Fawlty Towers was an important turning point that helped her enter the ranks of the most remembered British television actors. The role of Sybil Fawlty was not only her most famous role, but also became a pop culture icon. But Scales' value did not lie in a single role. Those who followed her long enough realized that her ability to balance psychological depth and comedic restraint was what set her apart. Her personal life with Timothy West was also part of her legacy. They were together for more than 60 years, raising children together, working together, and sharing the most difficult times. There were no scandals, no eye-catching statements, and no need to publicly express their views on every event. The couple quietly built a solid image in the hearts of colleagues and viewers. They appeared together in many projects, including Great Canal Journeys, when she began to show signs of memory loss. In her later years, although her health was not as good as before, Scales still maintained the necessary alertness to adjust her daily life. Her family arranged for her to live at home following a familiar rhythm. She was not isolated, still talked to her husband and children, and sometimes recited old scripts. Simple activities such as rewatching Fawlty Towers or reading short news stories related to the stage helped her maintain contact with the world she had helped create. Scales's attitude to life also contributed to the respect of those in the profession. She did not let her illness define her. Even as her memory gradually declined, Scales did not shy away from interviews or pre-recorded television shows. She did not use her health as an excuse to withdraw from life, but chose to share just enough to maintain privacy, but still give viewers a chance to see her clearly. Prunella Scales did not need too many words to become an icon, and John Cleese did not need to say much to affirm what everyone felt. Together, they created an irreplaceable television legacy, and now that final acknowledgement feels like a complete and meaningful pause. If you feel this story deserves to be spread, don't forget to like and share the video with those who loved Fawlty Towers, and leave a comment below to tell us about your impressions of Prunella Scales. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the honest and emotional stories of people who have left a deep mark on art history. Thank you for watching.